Hello YouTube, Afro Man once again with another deck tech. Today we're going to do a Mardu base. It's not really Mardu tokens, it's not Dash, it is the base of so many decks that works well. This is Mardu Super Friends. So first we're going to start off with the Super Friends. We're going to run 3 copies of Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker. His +1 is a lot like Gideon's +1, where he just turns into a beater if all you have is a Planeswalker on the board. His -3 is just like Obnixilis, where he essentially kills most creatures except for Siege Rhino and Eldrazi. So, you know, that's a thing. And then his ultimate we won't ever use, because it's really doesn't really help with the way that we're running this deck. This isn't burn, this isn't super duper dashy aggro, so we can't just empty out our hand as fast as the deck wants us to. So we're not going to run the ultimate, but I mean the first 2 are phenomenal for what we're doing here. Next we've got Obnixilis. His +1 is, you know, read the bones, essentially. It increases card draw and helps us just get our game together by turn 6. His -3 is, you know, Hero's Downfall, and his ultimate is a lot better than Sarkhan's. It's really, really good. We want that to fire off. We don't really want Sarkhan's to fire off. It is, you know, our opponent gets an emblem, and whenever anybody draws, they lose 2 life, which will really burn them out quickly. Next, we're going to run Sorin, Solemn Visitor. His +1 pumps all our dudes and gives us life, which is great. We're going to be punching in a lot. His -2 puts a, you know, it puts a token on the field, which is really, really nice. We have a couple other cards that support that type of play style, and then his ultimate is really, really good, and it keeps our opponent's board clear from when we want to just run it over and flip things into our favor. Next, we're going to run Gideon, ally of Zendikar. His +1 is a great beater, just like Sarkhan. His his just 0 effect puts out tokens. We like that. And then his ultimate happens as soon as you hit the board, if you want it to, and it's an Anthem effect where it just really pumps all of our dudes, and we really want that too if we have our other Planeswalkers coming in behind him. Next, we're going to run our token producers, and so first we run 3 copies of Dragon Fodder. And so this happens, you know, you just tap 2 and put 2 dudes on the board. That really helps us on board state turns 2 through 5, and really gets things together. It dies to Languish, it dies to Reeve Soul, it dies to a lot of things, but doggone it, they get us through early game. Next, we're going to run Hordling Outburst, because why not? There's more goblins. This is Mardu, we want to run a lot of punchers, a lot of dudes, so that really helps. And we're going to run 2 copies of Secure the Waste. You know, that's great at any point in the game. When you don't have anything else to fire off, you just flood the board with even more guys. Again, Gideon's effect really, really helps. And so we're just trying to give you a base where you can really build off of in any direction. We kind of lean towards more of the Super Friends. Next, we're going to go with our odds and ends spells. We've got 2 Tormenting Voice. You draw 2, but you have to discard 1 when you cast it, so it's card draw, and then it replaces 1 that you discard. It's really good when you have Obnixilis Ultimate out, but even when you don't, it still fires off pretty nicely, and it helps us with board state and gets us into something that we need. Next, we're going to run Outpost Siege. We're not really going to run Dragons too much. We will in the Dash deck tech that we will upload probably later this week. We're mostly going to run the cons where we exile top card, helping us dig through, get what we need a little bit faster. Next, we're going to run Inspired Charge, which is strictly better than Kithian's Irregulars due to instant speed. Gives all of our dudes +2/+1, which is really, really nice. If you were to switch that out for anything, or if you were going to switch any of these out, you pull out a Tormenting Voice and put in a Rush of Battle, because, of course, we got a bunch of Warrior tokens, and it pumps everybody. We like those pump everybody effects. And then we're going to run Citadel Siege. We're typically going to run cons where we pump our guys, give them 2 1/1 counters, which is a permanent thing right before combat. So even if we are dashing, we can still make things bigger. It works well with Hangerback Walker and produces more tokens there. So that really helps too. We'll see that in gameplay later if not this week, then next week. Next, we're going to run our plethora of removal spells. We're going to start with Quarantine Field, because why not? It's an X cost spell, like a lot of the spells we run here, so it works any point in the game, and it just it exiles a bunch of dudes, which is something that we like. We've got a couple more effects like that in the sideboard, but that's not really a main board thing that we do. Next, we're going to run 2 ultimate price, which are really, really nice. No rhyme intended. The card destruction is great. And if we're playing something like Black-White Warriors that has a lot of small dudes low to the ground, but they're multicolor, we have Reeve Souls that we can switch in the sideboard. And then next we're going to run Murderous Cut, which is really nice. This deck we might not be able to get Delve to trigger off that often, so we might want to rotate that out for Reeve Soul as well when it comes to sideboarding time. The reason that this is in the main board as 2 of is because this is an instant speed, whereas Reeve Soul is slower. Next we're going to run 2 copies of Foul Tongue Invocation. Even if we don't have the dragon to fire off, we only run 3. The sack really works because it makes your opponent kill their own creature, which gets around hexproof and indestructible, and really just wipes up the board for us when we need it to. We're going to run 1 Mardu Charm. We like to fire off the 4 damage to target creature ability, but most of the time we'll be using the 2 1/1 warriors. We won't really use the duress unless we're playing against control. Then we've got 2 Kolaghan's commands, and normally we want to go with the 2 damage and discard a card, or maybe we're going to return a creature card from the graveyard to our hand, but that doesn't happen too often because we don't have too many dead dudes by the time we cast this. And to finish off our removal, we run Ruinous Path, which is Hero's Downfall at sorcery speed, which is really a downgrade, but has Awaken, which really helps late game to turn one of our lands into another dude to punch in for the kill. And we're going to round out with creatures. We've got Hangerback, which is XX and produces Thopters. There's not much explanation that needs to go on here, so we're just going to stick with that one. Next we go into Battle Brawler. Every time we have a red or white permanent on the board, he gets +1/+0 in first strike, which is really, really nice once you have a second dude. Or even, the Goblins trigger this off, Outpost Siege triggers this off, Citadel Siege triggers this off, Kolaghan triggers this off. There's a lot of the things that'll make this dude really a problem to deal with early game. We're going to run 2 Erish and Foremosts, double strike, and when he hits the board, he gives another dude double strike as long as he's a warrior, which is nice. We've got a couple other cards that work well with that, but Warriors isn't really what we're going for, but again, we're giving you a base where you could build Mardu Warriors if you wanted to. Next, we're going to run 2 Seeker of the Way, and the Prowess trigger is really what we're looking for. And lifelink is what we like, too. Gaining life is a thing that Sorin triggers with, is a thing that Seeker of the Way triggers with, and so it really helps once we have 2 of those on the board, and we're just swinging in and gaining life, coming back from behind. We're going to run Bloodshed Rager, which gives our dudes Menace whenever he swings, which is really hard to block. It's really hard to get Menace together, or get against Menace late game, or early game, rather. Late game is easy to deal with, but late game we've got a problem if they can fire off. If they can't fire off anything to block Bloodshed or the other warriors that we run, there's definitely going to be a problem. We've got 2 Kolaghan Storm's Fury, which is a 4/5. Once we get Gideon's emblem on the field, he hits for 6. It'll hit for 7 if we get swinging with both of them, which is really, really nice. They're dashy, which is okay if they have spot removal that's sorcery speed, or they have board wipes, that'll always survive. And then we're going to round out the creatures with the Big Daddy, Dragon Lord Kolaghan. It's a 6/5 flyer haste. Other dudes have haste, which really helps when we're mid to late game, and we're just trying to blow them out with smaller dudes. We drop all of our dudes, swinging with haste, and whenever his third ability is just bonkers. Whenever somebody recasts a spell that's already in their graveyard, they lose 10 life, which makes them really wary of what they're doing, and if not, they will lose the game. So there's all our creatures. With our mana base, we have 7 swamps, we have 6 plains, 9 mountains, and 2 evolving wilds. 9 mountains, and then the 2 evolving wilds, just to kind of fill up our graveyard for Delve. Next, we're going to the sideboard. So we've got a little bit of board wipe with 2 Languish and an End Hostilities. End hostilities kills all creatures. Language does -4/-4 to all creatures, which keeps our Kolagons alive. We would probably use that second main phase, even if, we had to ping off one of our dudes to kill their dudes. It really works to clean it up and put things in our favor. Like I was talking about during the removal portion of this video, we have 4 Reeve Soul in the sideboard because it just kind of deals with low-to-the-ground things that are multicolored. Only problem with it is that it's sorcery speed. If it were instant speed, it would be rare, and nobody would put it in a base deck or a budget deck. We've got another Mardu Charm in the board just in case we need to switch things out to put things a little more in our favor. We've got another Inspired Charge in the sideboard. That pump is great once you're pumping all your dudes, swinging in with Kolagon, giving all of our dudes haste, and then swinging with that really, really makes that hard to deal with. Next, we're going to run 2 pump spells that also gives evasion. Mighty Leap is +2/+2 and flying, and then Angelic Gift is permanent flying, and then we get to draw a card, which is nice. Then we're going to roll into Shatter, which is just Kolagon's command. The least used ability if we're running against, I don't know, Thopters or something like that. Shatter helps us just bolt things off the board. Suppression Bonds is nice because that exiles things. Even, if somebody's running Planeswalkers that we can't deal with at the time, we have Suspension Bonds to get rid of it. We have Ruinous Path to get rid of it. But really, that's our only Planeswalker removal. Next, we're going to run 1 more creature in the sideboard, and it's going to be Champions of Erishin. 3/2 isn't that great, especially when it costs 4 mana to cast, but the lifelink really makes it worth it. And once you drop it and the Warrior Anthem works and you're hitting with double strike and it has menace and all those things, it really works. And then we're going to round out the sideboard with a Sandblast, just to kind of protect us against blockers. We're not really too worried about people attacking because we're blowing them out and we're making them block. So that's that. We're going to post a couple other videos this week. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and comment. This has been Afro Man from Team Island. Never, ever tap out.